Alright, testing. I almost started recording without the mic on, and that would have been horrible. Okay. And 1, 2. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another FretroView. My name is Fret, and I apologize. It took me a long while to get this one out. I think I'm overthinking things. As you see from the thumbnail, I was going... Well, this is a FretroView on Sonic the Hedgehog. This game is what started me on my video game addiction, and for some reason it's taken me a long time to try to put this together. I wanted my FretroViews of the Sonic series to be like special because that's really what got me like really into video games. But for some reason I just couldn't put it together. I was gonna write a script and have like this big elaborate like video, but nothing was coming together. And plus, I don't know if you guys like the new intro, that took me a long while to do as well. Shows my love for Sonic 2, which is one of my favorite of the Sonics. I'll get into it. But yeah, nothing was really coming together. So I hope I can do this justice. Like I said, from here on out, it's going to be Sonic 1, 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, and then Sonic Adventure will be my next videos in that order. And yeah, I said I wanted to do them justice, but like I said, I think I'm overthinking things, and it's really, like I said, put me behind schedule as far as dropping videos. So I'm just going to do them and hope I do them justice. And yeah, I guess I'm not a big script writer. Like I was trying to like write in like other characters and do all this and that, but I guess that's just not me. It really wasn't working. So yeah, I'll just stick to what I do best, which is off the cuff stuff. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. But with that being said, for those who are new, what I do here at FretroViews is I basically cover games that I played as a child just to see if they hold up as an adult, and for the most part they have been. Only had a few flops so far. Trust me, I know I got some doozies in there. I just have yet to cover them, but I'm sure we'll get to them at some point. But for this one, Sonic the Hedgehog, the original, and this is another thing I was having trouble with. There's not much to say about the original Sonic the Hedgehog. It's what kicked Sega off. We all know Sonic was the mascot and still is the mascot for Sega. And it really kick-started Sega's console. The Sega Genesis took off from there. I'm pretty sure but Sega had prior mascots, but it wasn't until they got Sonic, and with his real edgy commercials, they were really going at Nintendo, man. And Sonic was at the forefront of most of those advertisements. And for me, I'm not sure if it was the commercials that got me. Like I said, I didn't have my own Sega. I got my own Sega like a lot later. I usually would play my cousins. I had two cousins that had a Sega Genesis. One I lived with, and the other one lived like he was further down the street. So I had my main cousin, who I lived with. He had his set of games, and then my other cousin who lived down the street had his set of games. So I would have to bounce back and forth between the two. Luckily, the cousin that I lived with at the time had Sonic, and boy, did I play the crap out of some Sonic, man. And this is why I say it started my game addiction, because like I said, I played like Nintendo games and other Sega games before Sonic, and I didn't have I would play them for a few, and then I would go outside and play and whatnot. When for some reason with Sonic the Hedgehog, that didn't happen. Like, it held me. Like, I would be in there for hours and hours and hours, just replaying and replaying and replaying, and I don't know what it was about Sonic that did that to me. Like I said, Sonic had his commercials, his advertisements, and like I said, I don't think that's what really hooked me. I think, like, I don't know, Sonic has something about him that draws you in. And I don't know what it is for me. Like, I like Sonic's design. I've always liked his original design. Now, I think my favorite design of his is the Toei design. And I think that for me, as an artist, as I said, I like, you can do more with him, like his body. Like, I know with the Americanized, like the cartoon Sonic, you can do like all the squats and stretch and all that kind of jazz. But for some reason, the Toei design, he still has his kind of classic look with a mix of like the more modern Sonic look. It's like a mix in between those, and it's just right. But I've always had a fondness for his original classic design as well. The more modern Sonic look, I'm a little like iffy on. It's not bad, but it's I can take it or leave it. Like for like the Sonic Frontiers design, like I'm not a big fan. I wish what they did with Sonic Frontiers, they like had a bunch of skins for Sonic, kind of like they did with the Spider-Man on PS5. Like there was a crap ton of skins that you could just add for Spider-Man or costumes or whatever. I wish they would have done that for Sonic Frontiers, and like they had his original design or his Toei design, stuff like that. But yeah, Sonic design, it really got. I drew like in school, instead of studying and doing homework, I would always like draw Sonic. I drew the same pose almost all the time, and it was like his little pose where he had his legs crossed and he has his finger wagging. Like I did that all the time. I don't know, something about Sonic's design. I really liked it, and the concept of going fast, it kind of drew me in as well. And I would just blaze through those levels and draw Sonic. That was my life from like grade school all the way up to like the end of middle school, I believe. It was all about Sonic. Kind of trailed off during my high school days. You know, I was into like Street Fighter, and I wasn't playing Final Fantasy then. It kind of trailed off after. I still like Sonic, but I moved on to like other games. Let me see. But yeah, that's about my history with Sonic. And like I say, it moved forward like with all the other like Dreamcast and all that jazz. Let's see. So I guess with that, my history with Sonic aside, we'll move on to the actual game. So Sonic the Hedgehog, released way back when, I'm not sure of the year, I think 1994, maybe 95, somewhere around there. Like I said, I don't do research for these things. And it was bundled with the Sega Genesis. Now, the whole premise of this, like I said, there's not much to Sonic the Hedgehog. It's really straightforward. Sonic, you play a little blue hedgehog who is trying to stop an evil scientist from taking over the world. That's pretty much it. It's pretty much just a platformer. Sonic can move fast. There's 6 zones, I believe, altogether, with 3 acts each. And that was what confused me, because when I was going back and replaying this game, the 3 acts really got me, because for those who are Sonic fans, after Sonic 1, it goes down to 2 acts for every other game. So I was like, man, these stages are long. And I was like, oh yeah, there's 3 acts instead of 2. So, which is not bad. I guess they could probably go back to 3 acts, but I guess 2 is the sweet spot. Trying to think. So, like I said, it's a platformer, so not much to it. Sonic can run, jump. He has he can roll into a ball to damage enemies. He can damage enemies by jumping into them. But there are some enemies that, I guess they can't block it, but some enemies that you can't damage by jumping into them. Some of them have like shields on the casino. Well, that might be Sonic 2. That's another thing. I keep blurring Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 because I play Sonic 2 a lot as well, and I kind of blur the 2 together. But yeah, you can't damage every enemy by jumping into them. Now, like I said, it's left to right platformer. Sonic can move fast. He has like a little jog, and he gets into his max speed if you can run without interruption. and it's known as his figure 8 in later games, but yeah, not bad. There are collectibles. Sonic, he can collect rings, which is basically, I would say his health bar, but you can collect up to 100 rings. When you collect 100, you get a 1-up. And if you collect 50 and you make it to the end of the stage, you can go into the special zone. Special zones are there for collecting the Chaos Emeralds. Chaos Emeralds are what Dr. Robotnik, the evil scientist, is trying to collect to power his megalopolis city or whatever. Chaos Emeralds don't play much in the original Sonic, but they play a bigger role in the later games. Now, collecting rings, like I said, they kind of play as Sonic's health pool. So as long as you have at least one ring, Sonic can take damage. But as soon as he loses all his rings and he takes damage, you lose a life. And you start back over from your last checkpoint. If you don't have a checkpoint, you start over at the beginning. There are other collectibles. He has these little TV monitors that you smash open. They have power-ups in them. Some monitors have the symbol of a ring. That means you get 10 rings when you smash that open. Some have an image of a shield. Sonic has a shield that acts as a barrier. He can take one additional hit. So he has a barrier, he gets hit, and then he can get hit again because he won't lose his rings. And if you get hit again without that, then you lose a life if you don't have any rings. So that's the barrier is pretty good. And then, or shield. Well, I think it was a barrier in Sonic 1 and they changed it to shields in 2 and 4. I think 3 is when they changed it to shields. That doesn't matter. Barriers. And then he has his speed shoes. You collect that and then Sonic it's like he moves like 3 or 4 times as fast as his max speed. The shoes, I like the shoes because you can go really fast with them. But the problem for me, at least, with the shoes is that if you don't know the layout of the stage, the shoes do you no good because you would just slam into an enemy or run into a pit or run into some spikes or run into a spring, and there's no point to them. Now, a more experienced or I guess advanced player can probably tell you different, but for me, they're never any good. There are some areas I could get them and I can just go buck wild, but for the most part, it's always a roadblock for me to get these shoes instead of just leaving them alone. And then the next power up, you get the stars, which is basically the invincibility stars. When you collect these, Sonic can take no damage. He is invulnerable to most things in the game. The only things that I am aware of that can take you out is if you fall into a pit or you get smashed by an object. And that's about it. He's pretty much invulnerable to everything else. And what else? He has 1-up power-ups that he can get. And I think that is it for Sonic 1. I believe that's all the power-ups. Other than that, let's see. Gameplay-wise, the enemies are pretty varied. You got bumblebees, little crabs that shoot little projectiles out of the claws. Let's see, man. You got fish that jump up from under bridges and whatnot. Yeah, pretty varied. Like I said, the game, as far as graphics go, so when Sonic came out, it was pretty good as far as like a bundled game. The graphics weren't like top notch, but they were good enough. Pretty solid. Like you had scaling backgrounds. It was very colorful. The music in the game was pretty dope. They pretty had a handle on that sound chip. You had some transparent backgrounds. Not much in the foreground. There was a little bit of foreground, but not a lot. Animations were pretty good. Sonic was animated pretty well. He had his idle animation. If you had him stand there for too long, he would switch to his little attitude pose, and then his running animation was pretty solid. Oh, and he also had little animations for when you got too close to the edge. There's two. There might have been two in... I think Sonic 1 had two. I'll have to double check. If there's two, I'll put it up over here so we can see it. But there's one where he'd be like, whoa, and then the one where he's leaning forward, and it's pretty good. Pretty good animations. For the rest of the game, the enemies were not animated as well. It's becoming a theme with these older games. Like, the main characters are animated fantastically, but then the enemies in the game are not animated as well. If animated at all. For most of them, it's just one PNG, like one or two, and that's it. I don't know if you can call that animation. But for the most of the enemies, they're mostly just walk back and forth, and they're just roadblocks, really. There's nothing really that can impede Sonic from moving forward. The environment or the stages, for the most part, is the obstacle that you want to get through. Because if you, like I said, with Sonic, the whole appeal of the game is replayability. I know a lot of people ask themselves, why do people like Sonic games? And I think that's it. If it's not for Sonic himself, it's just the levels or the stages of the game. That's where your money lies. Because most, like, for me, I would take the same, like, there's multiple paths you can take in a Sonic game. You can go high, you can go medium, you can go low, you can do a mix in between. And there's a lot of stuff you can find in the game, like little secret areas, or how quickly you can get through the game. There's a lot of stuff you can do. For me, I was never really that much adventurous in playing Sonic. I usually take the same path over and over and over again, and to see how fast I can get through that, knowing what I know. But that's just me. Like, I know other people, they have found tons and tons of things that you can do in these games, because I guess this is the big one thing. Sonic is a physics-based game, which was, I don't know if it was revolutionary when it came out, but it's really momentum-based. Like, Sonic has momentum. Like, you can't run up a hill like from the jump. Like, if Sonic is standing at the edge of a hill and he tries to run up, he can't do it because he needs speed. So you literally have to back up and then run forward to get the motion to climb the hill or run up the hill, or to hit a loop. They have loop-de-loops. Like, you need to gain speed. And then on top of that, when you're doing that, you can get even more speed. Like, you can run through a loop-de-loop, and then Sonic would hit max speed. But if you run through that loop-de-loop, and at the very top of that loop you roll into a ball, Sonic can go even faster. And now he's blazing through this level. It's stuff like that. So you can find all kind of little, like, especially in the casino zone, when you're hitting on these half pipes and whatnot. Like, Sonic, he can get major air. He's bouncing all over the place. Like, it can get pretty wild. So yeah, I think that's a good appeal for most people in these games. Like, you can just do so much with Sonic, not in the later games. That's another story, though. That's mostly up through Sonic 1 up to Sonic and Knuckles is where all the real physics or motion-based comes out. Everything after that, it's a wrap, son. No more motion. There might have been motion. It's just, we'll have to get to Sonic Adventure. I think they did pretty good in the motion in that one. But I can't. I'll have to replay it. Yeah, but the graphics, animation is pretty solid in Sonic 1. Not great, but not bad either. Dr. Robotnik, he's not really animated. He's just one still image, and it moves. I think the only thing that's really animated is like the little flame that's on the back of his little egg ship, or whatever that thing is. I said there's not much about Sonic. I guess we can move over to the sound. The sound in Sonic is great. Like I said, they really had a handle on this sound chip. Everything in this game sounds pretty good. Pretty darn good. The music, don't even let me get started on the Green Hill Zone. It's still classic and iconic to this day. pretty much all the jams or the background music in this game is pretty darn good. My personal favorites, I like the Starlight Zone. It's probably my favorite in Sonic 1. Green Hill's pretty good. See, and this is what I say. It's the Mystic Cave. Mystic Cave and Starlight Zone are probably my favorite tunes in this one. Everyone and all the other ones are pretty good too. Sound quality, very good. Most of the sound effects in this game are pretty good as well. You won't get annoyed with any of the sound effects. One sound effect that could get a little bothersome is there's a little noises, like when the lava balls pop up, like in the marble zone. If you stay there for too long, that can get a little bit annoying because you get tired of hearing the sound. But other than that, I can't really think of anything that gets too annoying as far as sound goes. Nothing sounds out of place. It sounds clean and crisp. Not too much that the sound on the sound. It's all pretty good. Trying to think if there's any other notable sound effects or anything that stands, but nothing stands out. They really did a good job on the sound effects here, or just the sound quality in general. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to say about the gameplay. Sonic does have a timer, which is I hate games that have timers, but they give you enough time in this game to basically you can even ignore it. The whole point of the timer is to time yourself to see how fast you can get through the zones. And for the most part, you can get through them very quickly. I think you get 10 minutes tops for each zone, and you can get through a zone if you know what you're doing in less than a minute. At the most, I think it's 2 to 3 minutes, and that's just because the zone itself keeps you from moving that fast. But if it was open like Green Hill Zone, you'll be through it in less than a minute. And I think that's the problem a lot of people had with Sonic 1, is that it started with the marble zone. Like, you can't just blaze through it. You have to go through all these little obstacles for no reason. It just slows you down, which in a game that you're supposed to be moving fast, it slows you down. I never had a problem with it because I like exploring and going through caves and caverns, but I can see why people would say that about this game or that zone. I don't even know if it gets any better because Starlight Zone and the Mystic Cave zones are pretty much the same. You have to go through these slow areas that block you from running. And when the area is not blocking you from running, there's this enemy placement keeps you from getting max speed too. So yeah, it gets a little better at Sonic 2. But yeah, like I said, that's the one negative, I guess, would be stage design for Sonic 1. It's not that great. Like I said, in the game you're supposed to be moving fast. The stages really slow you down, like needlessly. I'm trying to think of what else to say. There is, now you have your score. Like I said, you can pretty much ignore that. You do get scores so you can get extra continues. I think you have 3 or 4 to start out with. I don't know what the exact number is, but if you reach a certain point in the score, you get an extra continue. You can get that in the bonus stages too. Bonus stages, did I go over those? No? Anyway, bonus stages, that's where you can get your Chaos Emeralds. Chaos Emeralds don't play a big role in this game, but you can collect them all. I think there's 6 in the original Sonic, and then later there are 7. Now, if you beat the game without getting all the emeralds, no big deal. You'll just get a little cutscene at the end of the credits saying try again, and you'll see Eggman there like juggling the emeralds. Now, if you beat the game with all the emeralds, at the end of the game, you'll see like Eggman stomping on the end text, like all angrily. And that's it, really. Not much, like I said, there's not a lot of story with the original Sonic. I'm trying to think. Now, well, all that being said, if you saw my previous videos, I was complaining about the Smash Pack version of Sonic. and how terrible it is, which it is terrible. So I replayed it again, and again I think I did beat it this time just because I wanted to get all the sounds and whatnot, but oh boy, it's bad. It is really bad. So I replayed it on my, like I said, my original Sonic. Oh, I have it on the Genesis, but it's all tore up. I don't know what happened to it. One sec, I'll get it. It's all tore up. Here it is. It's really weird. I don't know what happened to it. If you can see it there. Let me get my hand out of the way. Let's hold it here. Yeah, see, it's just all broken up. I don't know what happened to it. I think it just got crushed in storage or something, which is unfortunate because I like my Sonic game. I gotta get another one, but let's set that there. Yeah, but which is the good thing is that's why I buy multiples of the same, especially at a good price. Like I said, I do have Sonic Jam, and the original Sonic is on there. So I replayed it on the Sega Saturn, and it was way better. Sound-wise, the game response-wise, everything was great. So I'm going to do a little side-by-side again, just so you guys can see the difference between the Smash Pack, which I don't advise buying, and the Sonic Jam version, which I do advise buying. Like I said, the Sonic Jam version, you have Sonic 1, 2, 3, Sonic and Knuckles. So you have all those, and then you can even do the Sonic and Knuckles, and then like put another, like it emulates putting like another cartridge on top, so you can play like the multiple stage games as well. So I would go ahead and buy the Jam, Sonic Jam, if you can find that. Do not buy the Smash Pack. Do not buy that. It's no good. But yeah, we'll put little side by sides up, and so you guys can see the difference. don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I'm doing this game justice. There's a lot I want to say, but in a lot there isn't much to say about Sonic 1. And I don't even know if I conveyed like my love for Sonic the Hedgehog that well here. Like I said, I which is weird because I do better at writing than speaking my words, but I couldn't write for this. Like not at all. It's I don't get it. But anyway, to prevent me from rambling on for hours on end, we'll go ahead and close it here because I don't have anything else to say. And we'll continue this with Sonic 2, which I will have a lot more to say. And yeah, so if you made it this far, I appreciate it, guys. Until next time, bye-bye.
おいおい、みんなが君を随分と待っていたぞ。ビュンビュンを張り巡り、ほら来た、ソニック登場。この面白さったらもう目が離せやしない。カットリアクションゲームソニック・ザ・ヘッジホッグメガドライブから。